I am Captain Spawn, and this is day 359 of Spawn Year. I've chosen to more or less ignore the wings of refreshment since my confrontation with the Coke Angel, as neither they or she changes anything about my situation or my resolve to play this out to the bitter end. They're relatively comfortable and a lot less heavy than my cape was, though it is a curious sensation to have extra appendages coming out along your shoulder blades. Today I finally allowed myself the indulgence of thinking about my wings, and there's one curiosity I just couldn't shake. If I have wings, can I fly? If I could, I had no intention on attempting to use my new ability as a means of escape, any more than I would have attempted teleportation. 6 days left of this wretched existence, if I'm right, and the last thing I want to do is jeopardize my way out. But in 4 days, I haven't tried out my wings, and my curiosity consumed me to the point that I could think of nothing else, like an itch that didn't bother you until you thought about maybe scratching it. If I could fly, what would the harm be of hovering a couple feet off the ground for a moment? So I stood up, gave my wings several dramatic pumps backwards and forwards, and dropped to the ground in a brand new kind of agony. The wings sent a surge of poison coursing through my bloodstream. Every inch of my body felt as if it were covered in fire ants. It was a profoundly different sensation than the sharp hunger pangs of Mountain Dew deprivation, yet every bit as excruciating. Wings of refreshment, to remind me what could still be mine, the Angel of Coke said. Of course, those few flaps of the wings had injected me with a dose of Coca-Cola, now who knows how large. I used every ounce of strength I possessed to reach for my supply of Mountain Dew, in the hopes of diluting the Coke. If a concentrated dose of Mountain Dew could heal a Coke-inflicted wound, I hoped the steady flow might be enough to expel that stream of Coke from my system. It took an entire 2-liter, and I am still recovering from the Coke's effects, but it worked. I can only imagine what would have happened to me were Tiny Adam West not still keeping my supply fully replenished. It was a reminder to keep my eye on the ball, or in this case, the comics. I've come this far, I can't let any distraction or curiosity get the better of me. On to the review. 213 makes some much needed headway on story points that haven't been brought up in a frustratingly long while, and yet, because it's been so long, it's glaring that they're only now being built upon, and that's distracting because I'm spending so much time wondering why now. Namely, with the photo of Jim and his supposed wife from before the coma, which Blood gave Jim out of that briefcase almost a year's worth of issues ago, when it looked like that briefcase would serve as a clue dispenser, regularly giving Jim and the reader breadcrumbs. But that's all we ever got, and since then, Blood's been mostly biding his time and testing Jim with minions, when he has perfectly good leverage to control him with. It's only been a week and a half since I found out about that photo, and I had already all but forgotten about it. Some secret agency is stamping out every private investigator Mark sent that photo to in order to keep Jim's past buried. Mark hears from one of them, forced by that agency to lure him into some kind of setup, and that's where we're left with that subplot for now. Either this shadowy, presumably Black Ops organization took a while to discover that photo, or a lot less time has passed since he sent those emails than it seems. This story is moving at such a snail's pace, I'm going to go into a fit of uncontrollable laughter if there's ever any indication that it's actually been 2 years since Al died. This series has a track record of weeks turning into years just so it can take place in the present day of the publication. Though if that does happen, it's likely it'll be late enough I won't have a chance to read about it. The other subplot that finally resurfaces again is Jim and Susan, Mark's girlfriend's affair. Not that I was looking forward to revisiting that, but Jim's been so busy jerking Twitch around for answers and being generally despicable in the Spawn suit that the stale supporting cast has been practically invisible the last several issues, and now that they're more prominently featured again, it feels like a chore revisiting each of their motivations and reasons for being here because, well, like I said, they're kind of stale. The affair is back just so it can be officially abandoned. Susan wants more sex, and Jim suddenly plays the "this is wrong and we're hurting my best friend" card and breaks off their relationship. I like how he tries to let her down easy with the "you're a wonderful, vibrant, sexy woman" line. It's sure nice of these people to tell me what the other people are supposed to be like, because Susan's entire characterization has been needy and sexually frustrated, and that whole subplot seemed to just be tossed in there because now that our protagonist is alive and breathing, he needs dramatic interpersonal relationships to deal with. And despite how randomly the course is reversed on this, good riddance to poor subplots, I say. I think the idea is Jim is getting rid of any distraction that might get in the way of his getting his answers, and right now he thinks that's doing whatever Clown tells him to do. So he gives a press conference announcing a new foundation that will create a system to allow people to apply and avail themselves of Jim's healing powers, since Clown told him last issue to continue escalating his public persona. Jim comes off as warm, genuine, and charismatic, both on stage and to Mark, although it's obnoxious that Jim follows up an unusually pleasant and ordinary conversation with Mark about how well things are going on the celebrity end with this aside to Susan. Does his neurotic, perfectionist behavior ever get to you? Again, thank you for spelling out everybody's prevailing character traits, Jim, because apparently your adjectives are the only means by which Carlton has to communicate them. They're certainly not coming through in their actions. I wish somebody would describe what Jim is supposed to be like, because I still can't get a read on him. He seems to only be starting this foundation and acting like a humanitarian to somehow manipulate the world into giving him answers. In his speech, he claims to have found a purpose in helping people, and he's clinging to that because he has no past to define him. Again, I'd be so much more engaged with this material if I thought that were true. Now, I suppose I'm complaining because I think my premise is better, and I shouldn't try to rewrite the narrative. Yet, it's awkward because I have the sneaking suspicion that I'm supposed to think the real Jim would do exactly what he's claiming he's doing at the press conference. But since he's always under an alien influence, I can't be sure. We get an intrusive, overly long flashback while he's talking to Susan of the conversation Jim and Sarah have after last issue's cliffhanger, which really should have opened this issue, in which Sarah decides to leave because Jim's powers are scaring her and she can't make sense of them. Jim convinces her to stay, saying he needs her. I think she's supposed to be his link to humanity, and I'm supposed to feel for him, struggling to find his compassion. But he might also just be a really good liar, as we see at the press conference. I still can't tell if there's a real person in Jim, and even if there were, it's rare in these comics for the undisputably real people to seem like real people. Jim/Spawn then interrogates one of Blood's vampire/demon hybrids for 2 pages, and we're still waiting on the results of his questioning. I swear, Spawn comics are like taking MRI tests. At the end, it's finally revealed what the deal was with the guy who killed himself the same day Al did. He was holding another of Bulgy's power pieces and trying to keep it away from Bulgy. Here, Malbolgia shows up to his wife after she's given birth and reveals that he somehow put the piece in her offspring. I hope we're told why that guy just happened to kill himself the night Al died and how he even knew Bulgy was back. Actually, you know what? I don't care. I've got 6 more days of this, and I doubt I'll find out before I'm through. So I just have to sit here, write about a few more comics, and try not to flap. Easy as pie. Signed, Captain Spawn.